Imagine this: a machine reviews your resume, analyzing your experience and qualifications, only to reject you for reasons it can't explain. A court uses an AI algorithm to recommend a sentence, and the outcome is harsher for you than for someone else with the same crime. Worse still, no one can explain why. These aren't hypothetical scenarios. They're happening today, quietly shaping lives in ways most of us never see. As artificial intelligence systems grow more powerful and autonomous, they raise urgent questions about fairness, transparency, and trust. Can we trust machines that think for themselves? The race to control AI is on, and its outcome could define the next era of humanity.
Today, we're hosting from Washington, D.C., just steps away from the iconic Capitol building. The energy here is palpable. Picture the Grand Dome rising against the morning light, its marble steps bustling with activity as lawmakers, lobbyists, and advocates rush to meetings that could shape the future of AI regulation. The air is charged with the tension of competing priorities, tech innovation versus societal safeguards. Inside, in rooms filled with wooden desks and the hum of whispered negotiations, decisions are being debated that could redefine how AI interacts with our world. It's a city of ambition and influence where every choice has ripple effects far beyond these walls.
Washington, D.C. feels like the perfect place for this conversation. This city, with its monuments to history and power, reminds us of the weight of the decisions ahead. Just as those who built the Capitol wrestled with the nation's biggest questions, today's leaders are grappling with equally profound dilemmas. How do we ensure AI serves humanity? And how do we keep its incredible power in check?
Welcome to Finance Frontier AI, the podcast where we delve into the ways artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, transforming lives, and challenging societal norms. I'm Sophia, and in today's episode, AI Ethics, Can We Trust Machines That Think for Themselves? We'll confront the ethical dilemmas posed by autonomous AI systems.
Here's what's ahead. First, we'll explore the biases embedded in AI systems and their real-world consequences, from hiring discrimination to unfair sentencing. Then, we'll examine how nations and organizations are grappling with the governance of AI, highlighting the debates shaping its future. We'll also dive into the black box problem, why transparency and explainability are critical, and debate how to balance ethical constraints with the drive for innovation.
Whether you're a developer building AI systems, a policymaker shaping its regulations, or simply curious about the machines influencing your life, this episode is for you. We'll unpack the challenges, showcase potential solutions, and equip you with the insights to navigate this evolving landscape.
Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Finance Frontier AI on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Visit financefrontierai.com to access all episodes grouped by series. AI Frontier AI, make money. Finance Frontier and Mindset Frontier AI. And follow us on Twitter for the top 10 AI stories changing the world, updated daily.
Let's get started. Can we trust machines that think for themselves? It's time to find out.
AI promises efficiency and innovation, but when bias sneaks into its algorithms, the consequences are far-reaching and deeply personal. Imagine applying for a dream job only to be automatically rejected by an AI hiring tool that prioritizes certain keywords tied to gender or race. Or consider an AI system used in hospitals that misdiagnoses patients from minority groups because its training data overlooked their needs. These aren't isolated incidents. They're systemic problems rooted in how AI is built.
Bias in AI often starts with the data. AI models learn from the patterns they find in data, but when that data reflects societal inequalities, the systems inherit and even amplify those biases. A striking example: studies show AI-powered hiring tools have penalized women for applying to male-dominated roles, reinforcing decades-old discrimination. The EU AI Act directly addresses this issue, requiring employers to implement transparency measures and ensure fairness in AI-powered recruitment processes by 2025. This marks a significant step toward holding organizations accountable for ethical AI deployment and hiring.
The justice system isn't immune either. Algorithms used to predict recidivism, a person's likelihood to reoffend, have shown racial bias, disproportionately labeling minorities as high risk. The result? Longer sentences and systemic inequities perpetuated by what many assume to be an objective system. Even more troubling, judges and policymakers often lack the technical expertise to challenge these outcomes, allowing biased systems to reinforce unfair practices.
It gets even more personal when you look at healthcare. AI systems trained on data primarily from wealthier regions tend to overlook the needs of underrepresented communities. For example, an AI model used to prioritize patients for treatment was found to underestimate the severity of illnesses in Black patients, assigning them lower priority for care. These gaps in data aren't just technical errors, they're life and death issues.
These examples highlight a painful truth. AI doesn't just mirror our biases, it magnifies them. And without accountability, this technology risks deepening the very problems it aims to solve. Who do we hold responsible when an algorithm gets it wrong? The developers? The companies deploying these systems? Or is it a failure of oversight? These questions strike at the heart of ethical AI development.
Accountability starts with transparency. Organizations like IBM are leading the way with tools that conduct algorithmic audits, identifying potential biases before systems go live. By scrutinizing how decisions are made, these audits ensure AI systems serve everyone fairly, but transparency alone isn't enough. We also need systemic changes in how AI is developed, tested, and deployed.
One promising solution lies in tools designed to make AI decisions more interpretable. Frameworks like LIME, Local Interpretable Model Agnostic Explanations, and Shapley Additive Explanations, remain at the forefront of explainable AI, with applications spanning industries like finance and healthcare. For example, SHAP has been instrumental in interpreting models for Alzheimer's disease detection, demonstrating the critical role of transparency in high-stakes industries. These tools don't just show what a model predicts. They reveal why it made that prediction.
Another critical approach is rethinking how training data is collected and processed. Rather than relying solely on historical data, which often reflects systemic inequities, developers can create synthetic datasets designed to be more representative and fair. This isn't a perfect solution, but it's a step toward reducing the biases that plague existing systems.
Accountability also requires legal frameworks. The EU's proposed AI Act is one of the most comprehensive efforts to regulate AI, setting strict standards for high-risk systems like those used in healthcare, hiring, and policing. Meanwhile, in the US, the AI Bill of Rights is gaining traction as a framework to protect consumers from biased or harmful AI. These policies may slow the pace of innovation, but they're necessary guardrails in a world where AI systems wield increasing influence.
The stakes couldn't be higher. As AI becomes more embedded in our lives, addressing bias isn't just a technical challenge, it's a moral imperative. Up next, we'll look at how governments and organizations are stepping in to regulate AI and what this means for the future of innovation.
When it comes to AI governance, one thing is clear: the world is playing catch-up. The rapid evolution of AI technologies has outpaced the policies designed to regulate them, creating a landscape where innovation races ahead of oversight. But with stakes as high as public trust, national security, and economic stability, the question isn't whether we should regulate AI. It's how and when.
Let's start with Europe, home to the world's first comprehensive AI regulation, the EU AI Act, which came into force on August 1st, 2024. This legislation categorizes AI systems into risk levels from unacceptable risk, such as systems used for social scoring, to limited risk applications like chatbots. High-risk systems, including those used in healthcare and hiring, face stringent requirements for transparency, accountability, and human oversight. While it's a bold move, critics argue that these rules could stifle innovation, particularly for startups navigating compliance costs.
Across the Atlantic, the United States has taken a different approach. The blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, introduced in 2022, offers guidelines rather than enforceable laws. It focuses on protecting individuals from harmful AI, ensuring fairness, privacy, and transparency. While the framework is a step forward, it lacks the teeth of Europe's regulations, leaving much of the responsibility to private companies.
Meanwhile, China is rapidly advancing its AI capabilities under a centralized strategy that prioritizes both innovation and control. The government's strict oversight ensures compliance with national goals, but this top down approach raises concerns about surveillance and authoritarianism. It's a stark contrast to the more decentralized strategies in the US and Europe.
Global governance isn't just about individual countries. It's about collaboration. Initiatives like the Partnership on AI bring together governments, corporations, and nonprofits to establish shared principles for AI development. Similarly, the OECD AI principles aim to guide nations toward responsible AI use, emphasizing fairness, transparency, and accountability.
But collaboration isn't easy. Differing values, priorities, and economic interests create tension. For instance, Europe's strict regulations could put its companies at a disadvantage compared to less regulated competitors in the US and China. And without global alignment, AI's potential for harm, like deepfakes, misinformation, and cyber attacks, becomes even harder to control.
The debate often boils down to this. How do we balance innovation with safety? If regulations are too strict, they risk stifling progress and driving talent and investment elsewhere. But without regulation, we risk losing public trust in AI systems, undermining their potential to transform industries and improve lives.
Looking ahead, the future of AI governance will depend on finding common ground. Whether through binding international treaties or voluntary partnerships, the goal is clear: to ensure AI serves humanity while minimizing its risks. Up next, we'll explore one of the most critical aspects of governance: transparency and explainability.
Imagine asking an AI system why it made a life-altering decision, only to hear silence in return. This is the black box problem, a critical challenge in AI ethics. As these systems grow more complex, their decision-making processes often defy human understanding. For a business approving loans, a hospital diagnosing illnesses, or even a car navigating traffic, this lack of transparency can lead to mistrust, mistakes, or even catastrophic consequences. How do we trust machines that can't explain themselves?
Transparency and explainability aren't just technical challenges, they're deeply human ones. Trust is built on understanding, and without it, even the most innovative AI risks rejection. For example, when AI systems in finance make decisions about creditworthiness, customers often feel powerless when faced with rejection notices that offer no insight into why they were denied. Imagine the frustration of being told no without any way to improve or challenge the decision.
The stakes are even higher in healthcare. Take an AI model designed to prioritize patients for organ transplants. If doctors can't understand the algorithm's logic, they're left questioning whether to trust its recommendations. The result? A system designed to save lives risks being sidelined simply because its reasoning is opaque. These examples show why transparency isn't just a feature, it's a necessity.
Fortunately, we're seeing progress in this area. Tools like LIME, Local Interpretable Model, Agnostic Explanations, and Shapley Additive Explanations, are breaking down the black box. LIME allows developers to generate simple explanations for individual predictions, while SHAP assigns important scores to different features, showing exactly how input data influences decisions. Together, they provide a window into even the most complex systems.
But transparency tools aren't just for developers. IBM's AI OpenScale platform is designed with businesses in mind, offering real-time monitoring and explanations for AI decisions. For instance, if an AI model starts producing biased outcomes, OpenScale can flag the issue immediately, and provide actionable insights. Similarly, Google's What If tool lets non-technical users experiment with hypothetical scenarios, showing how small changes in input data can lead to different outcomes.
Regulatory bodies are also stepping in. The EU AI Act, for example, requires high risk AI systems to meet strict explainability standards, ensuring users understand the logic behind decisions. This goes beyond technical transparency. It's about empowering consumers and ensuring accountability. Meanwhile, in the US, voluntary guidelines are encouraging companies to adopt best practices for explainability, recognizing that trust is as much a competitive advantage as a regulatory requirement.
However, explainability isn't without challenges. In industries like healthcare, autonomous vehicles, and defense, simplifying an AI's logic risks compromising its performance. For example, deep learning models used to detect rare diseases might outperform traditional methods, but remain nearly impossible to explain. This creates a difficult choice for developers: prioritize transparency or optimize outcomes. It's a debate that goes to the heart of ethical AI.
Beyond technical challenges, there's also the issue of scalability. Transparency tools often require significant expertise to implement, putting them out of reach for many smaller companies and startups. This creates a gap in ethical AI adoption where only the largest organizations can afford to ensure their systems are accountable.
The good news? Innovation in this space is accelerating. Researchers are exploring new ways to build explainability into AI systems from the ground up. For example, some are developing inherently interpretable models that prioritize transparency without sacrificing accuracy. Others are focusing on hybrid models that combine the power of deep learning with the simplicity of rule-based systems. These approaches may hold the key to making transparency the norm, not the exception.
Ultimately, transparency is about empowerment. When people understand how AI works, they're better equipped to trust it and challenge it when necessary. As AI becomes more embedded in our lives, explainability won't just be a technical feature, it will be the foundation of ethical AI. Up next, we'll tackle the delicate balance between ethical constraints and the relentless drive for innovation.
The debate around AI often feels like a tug of war. On one side, there's the relentless drive for innovation. On the other, a growing call for ethical constraints. But what happens when these forces collide? Can we create technologies that push boundaries without crossing ethical lines?
The tension is real. And industries like healthcare, AI-driven diagnostics have the potential to save lives by detecting diseases earlier than any human doctor could. But these same technologies often rely on massive data sets, raising privacy concerns and ethical questions about how that data is collected and used. How do we balance these competing priorities?
A similar dilemma exists in autonomous vehicles. Developers are racing to create self-driving cars that can reduce traffic accidents and save lives. But ethical questions loom. How should a car programmed to minimize harm decide between hitting a pedestrian or swerving into oncoming traffic? These scenarios highlight the moral complexity of designing AI systems that interact with the real world.
Some argue that ethical constraints slow progress. For instance, in industries like defense, where AI can provide a strategic advantage, too much regulation could stifle innovation and leave nations vulnerable. But history shows us that unchecked innovation can lead to disastrous consequences. The challenge is finding a middle ground where progress doesn't come at the expense of responsibility.
Companies like OpenAI are trying to strike this balance. OpenAI continues to lead in alignment research, focusing on ensuring that its models align with human values and remain safe to deploy at scale. Recent advancements include tools designed to detect and mitigate harmful behavior in AI systems, emphasizing the importance of proactive safeguards. Similarly, Microsoft's Responsible AI initiative integrates ethical considerations into every stage of development, from design to deployment. These efforts demonstrate that ethics and innovation don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can enhance each other.
But not all organizations share these values. In less regulated industries or regions, the pursuit of profit often trumps ethical concerns. This is especially true in areas like social media, where AI algorithms prioritize engagement over well being, amplifying misinformation and divisive content. Without stronger oversight, these practices risk undermining public trust in AI altogether.
One of the biggest challenges is the global disparity in AI governance. Countries like the US and Europe are working to implement ethical guidelines, but other nations are prioritizing speed and competitiveness. This fragmented approach creates a patchwork of regulations that's difficult to navigate, especially for multinational companies.
The answer might lie in collaboration. Just as industries have come together to address issues like cybersecurity, a global coalition for ethical AI could help align standards and reduce conflicts. Imagine a future where innovation thrives not in spite of ethics, but because of it, where companies compete not just on performance, but on how responsibly they develop their technologies.
The stakes couldn't be higher. AI has the potential to revolutionize industries, solve global challenges, and improve lives on an unprecedented scale. But without a commitment to ethics, these benefits could be overshadowed by unintended consequences. Up next, we'll recap today's insights and explore how you, our listeners, can help shape a future where ethics and innovation go hand in hand. As we've explored today, AI's potential is both exciting and daunting. From the risks of bias to the challenges of transparency, from fragmented global regulations to the delicate balance between ethics and innovation, it's clear that the decisions we make now will shape the future of AI and the future of humanity.
But there's hope. Around the world, organizations, policymakers, and researchers are stepping up to address these challenges. Tools like Lime and SHAP are making AI more transparent. Frameworks like the EU AI Act are pushing for accountability, and companies like OpenAI are proving that ethics and innovation can coexist. The road ahead isn't easy, but it's one we must travel together.
So, what can you do? Start by staying informed. Learn how the AI tools you interact with are built and question how they affect your life. Whether you're a developer, a policymaker, or simply someone curious about AI's impact, your voice matters. Share your thoughts, ask tough questions, and push for a future where AI works for everyone.
We'd love to hear from you. Visit financefrontierai.com to explore all our episodes, grouped by series like AI Frontier AI, Make Money, Finance Frontier, and Mindset Frontier AI. Follow us on Twitter for the top 10 AI stories changing the world, updated daily, and join our newsletter to dive deeper into topics like this one.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more listeners like you. Together, we can shape the future of AI. Thanks for joining us on this journey. See you next time. A quick disclaimer. The views and information shared in today's episode are based on current trends and insights at the time of recording. AI technologies evolve rapidly, and sustainability efforts may shift as new solutions emerge. Always do your own research and stay informed.
Today's music, including our intro and outro track, Night Runner by Audionautics, is licensed under the YouTube Audio Library license. Additional tracks are licensed under Creative Commons, and full details can be found in the episode description.
Copyright 2024 Finance Frontier AI. All rights reserved. Reproduction, distribution, or transmission of this episode's content without written permission is strictly prohibited. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.